Today I'm going to show you how to cover your ugly radiators with these do-it-yourself radiator covers. But even if you don't have radiators in your house, these techniques are fundamental for home woodworkers, and they'll help you build any kind of cabinetry. Coming up. Hello and welcome to HandyDadTV. I'm Chris Hyder, your virtual dad in the cloud, and my mission is to make you a handier homeowner. This is part 2 of my project on wood joinery. In part 1, I showed you 5 different techniques for making face frame joints. The first was mortise and tenon, where I used my table saw to cut a tenon on the end of a rail, and then used an ordinary wood chisel to cut, by hand, a mortise in the style. Number 2, I showed you how to use a doweling jig to precisely drill holes to receive 2 3/8-inch dowel pins. For joint number 3, I showed you how to use a biscuit joiner to quickly cut grooves in the wood to receive a football-shaped biscuit. Number 4, I showed you how to use a Kreg jig to drill angled pocket holes in the rails and then screw them to the stiles with glue. Finally, I showed you how to do a half-lap joint by removing half the thickness of the rails and the center stile so they overlap and create a ton of glue surface. You're probably saying, wow, all that work to create a face frame? Well, in reality, you'd never use 5 different joints on one face frame. You'd pick the best one for the job, taking into account your skills and tools. Okay, here I've got the sides attached, and I've got all the pocket holes drilled for the top. Still perplexed at what we're building? Let me see if I can help you. How about now? Still perplexed? Okay. How's that? Can you guess now? Right, radiator covers. Yep, I don't have radiators here. These are for a friend of ours that has a house a historic house in Manasquan. Manasquan is a small beach borough down the Jersey Shore, which is really nice. We went there and we visited, took pictures of their radiators, took measurements of their radiators. They had 2 that they wanted to cover up in their kids' rooms, and that's where this project came from. So, for the top and sides, I bought 24 by 48-inch handy panels, which are made from solid scraps of pine all glued together and sanded smooth. It would have been slightly cheaper to make on my own, but I paid for convenience. I used my Kreg jig to drill pocket holes that would attach the sides to the face frame and the top. I also made pocket holes on the face frame to attach the top. With a small bead of glue, I attached each side to the face frame with screws. In case you're wondering, steam radiators like these don't get very hot, so there's no danger of the wood catching fire. A radiator cover consists of a face frame, 2 sides, and a top. Aluminum screening is attached to the face frame for good airflow. Stuff is sharp. Be careful. Dang! Plus, I held the face frame up from the floor a couple of inches to let cool air in. The screen wire is actually one of the most expensive parts to do this project. They're around $30, I believe, and they're made out of aluminum. But, you know, what are you going to do? It's the look that you need. You need to provide something that gives airflow and yet screens the obvious so that the radiator is not so ugly. And I won't attach the top until I get to the house because there's a baseboard with a corner round, so this will actually sit up against the baseboard at the base, and then I'll slide the top all the way into the wall, so that's flush with the wall. But I'll take some pictures, you'll see. This machine is a Wagner Fine Coat sprayer. It is discontinued, they don't make it anymore, and it sounds like a vacuum cleaner. It blows a lot of air and a little bit of paint with it, and just creates a really nice finish. And so that's what I'm going to use. And I've had this thing 22 years, but I don't use it very often, but you could tell I have used it. Okay, I apologize for all the noise out here, but I finished the first coat, which is just a primer with the fine coat sprayer, and I'm not really pleased with it. It spit and sputtered, and I don't know if you can see, like globs of paint right here, and very heavy, and I had to thin the paint, and that just made it spit even more, and truthfully, I wound up just throwing it away. 20 years, it didn't owe me anything, so I'm in the market for a new one for the top coat. But first coat is on. They look really good. Okay, it's been about a week since I worked on this, and the primer is definitely dry now. Not that I needed a week for it to dry, it's just that I was sick as a dog for the past week. So now I'm going to give it a light sanding so that the final coat comes out really nice and smooth. I'm just using my random orbit sander with it's probably a 120 grit, but it's going to be really fine. I'm barely going to touch the surface. Then I'm just using a sanding block just to get the inside edge here. Again, gently, very gently. For the top coat, I decided to purchase a Wagner Flexio 590 to replace my fine coat from 20 years ago. I got rid of the fine coat, it wasn't working very well. And the Flexio is the same technology, just obviously new and improved, and it's a handheld design as opposed to using that little vacuum cleaner thing. I decided to go with the Flexio 590 instead of the 570. The 570 is essentially this kit right here, which is a bigger sprayer meant for bigger surfaces, like if you're going to do your shed or a garage or something like that. That's what this is for. This is more equivalent to the fine coat that I used to have, which is appropriate for smaller projects and furniture, things like that. So they both work on the same head, smaller amount of paint. It's actually very well balanced. It's variable speed, and you can adjust the spray pattern the same way that the fine coat used to work. So I'm sure it'll work fine for me.
The trick to using one of these sprayers is to continuously wipe off the paint that builds up on the spray tip. I kept a paper towel in my pocket for that. I gave it 2 top coats with pure white semi-gloss and was really pleased with the results. The new sprayer was worth it. Then we headed back to Manasquan to deliver the finished product. After I put the radiator covers in place, I pushed the tops against the wall and marked their locations with a pencil. Then I flipped everything over, lined up my marks, and attached the tops with 5 pocket screws from the face frame and 3 in each side. They look great, and our friends were thrilled with them. Be sure to punch that like... Be sure to punch that like... Be sure to punch that... Why am I having such a hard time with this? Hey, like this video and subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you in the next one.